So another thing about the interview process and the acquisition of jobs is when you're going for an interview, it's not an exam. You're not looking for exact answers most of the time. Obviously in technical interviews it's a wee bit different. You are kind of looking for exact answers, but it's more about you and more about how you can do. In a technical interview, so long as you can get most of the answers were correct and generally the gist of everything that's going on, you'll be absolutely fine. With technical interviews, generally what I've found is it's always a few years less than what you've done in university or what you've done prior to leading up to the interview. So if you're going for for example, when I was going for digital interviews, they were asking questions from digital year 2, which is a lot more, it takes a lot of the stress off essentially. So you don't need to heavily study for technical interviews, although what I would recommend if you are studying for technical interviews, it's more of a case of finding out what that role does specifically and aiming your technical studies towards that while lining up for the interview. So if you are going for an antennas place or a satellites place, you want to look up antennas, you want to look up signals, you want to look up everything to do with that to try and tailor your technical knowledge into that mindset, so when you get asked questions about antennas or signals, you'll be more than prepared for it, even though you should already kind of know what you're talking about. And that is the ideal goal of the technical interview. You obviously don't know what questions are going to come up, so you're going to just make sure you've got a broad understanding of the specific topic that your job role covers. Is communication. So if you can communicate to somebody that you know what you talk about in a technical role, and you can communicate to somebody that you would fit in well with a community within the non-technical interview, then you'll be putting yourself above your rest. And the best way to do this is practice. My first 2 interviews, I never actually got the job for, and I believe this is where I fell off. So when it came to the technical side of things, somebody was asking me about solar panels. I thought they were talking about generators, so we were talking in 2 different paths, and that's kind of where I fell off there. And then another one I fell off in the personal one because they asked me a question, and again I thought they said something different. But this is all it takes, just practice and reps essentially. So with the practice and reps, that's something we can work on within coaching. I can talk you through specific questions, specific scenarios they might go through, and feed them back to you and see how, and show you how you are responding to your own questions, if that makes sense. And the best thing about being shown how you're answering questions or understanding what you're doing to contribute to this factor is you can work on it. So if you're answering questions in such a way that it makes you seem either very unsure of yourself or very just not confident at all, there are specific methods you can do to work on that. And one part of that comes with studying your actual answers to some of the questions that are being presented with. So if it's tell me about a time where you improvised, or tell me about a time you had to choose between 2 bad options, these are difficult interview questions, but with enough reps and enough practice you can quickly come up with general solutions that follow most of these headings, and that's something we can also work for as well. In general with these kind of interviews, practice and repetitions is you don't want to wing your interviews, but when you're starting out, you generally do ring interviews and then you don't get the job. Then you wonder why you don't get the job, because you were winging the interview essentially. So long as you're not winging the interview, you should be strong, and this is part of the reason why most people fail. But if you want to keep on practicing, that's how you're going to get as many jobs as possible, and you're going to have a lot more options than maybe your peers around you.